Alright, welcome back to Stones from the Creek. Quite interestingly enough, the stone slab that I use, that I called sandstone last time, I believe is a siltstone. It's like sheared perfectly because of the weather. I left it vertical in the snow and it sheared and it perfectly. I'm going to try and do that with future siltstones as well. It's pretty neat. Alright, so we're going to start off with a bluish sandstone. It's pretty fine grained. And it has a few, I think, granitic sourced potassium feldspar. There's some pink grains distributed through this. It's outside. Another part of it. Really not too much to say about this. You know, predominantly quartz grains, it seems. Bit of a bluish tinge, which I wasn't quite used to for a sandstone that's predominantly quartz. Some staining there. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but I wonder if the staining is limonite. Wonder if that works that way. Okay. Next up, this isn't necessarily a sandstone, but I could tell, but definitely seems like just quartz. I thought there was some minor feldspar in here as well, some cleavage planes. That looked a little bit like feldspars. Probably going to be a little bit hard for me to find like this. There was too, I don't know if that up there is it. Something that kind of was garnet like. See that? Sorry, I'm so shaky. It seemed like some flashes of a feldspar and a bit of garnet kind of crushed up top. Here's a small bit of it. So what I think is just a piece of kind of bluish quartz with a little bit of feldspar and garnet. Next up is definitely a quartz auronite sandstone. Up real close, it's just a bunch of quartz grains. Now when I broke this open, it had kind of a sulfuric smell. It was actually quite pungent. Now once again, I could be wrong, but what I suspect is possible, like limonite? Does that make sense? I looked up whether or not limonite can contain sulfur. Said it could. It's supposed to be an iron oxide. Form of rust, I assume, kind of like a hematite. That's kind of the major points for this. Here's the larger portion. Sorry, I just lost the sun, which is a little unfortunate. Tried to do these on very sunny days, but can't win them all. It's pretty well packed. As you can tell, the size of the grains are various sizes. Definitely that staining, though, is interesting. These quartz arenite sandstones go from the whitest stones I can find to the most varied in staining. This, to me, was just a piece of quartz. Piece of quartz. It has some brassy flecks in here. I don't know if I'll really be able to find them now. But also just some weathering. I don't know if there's some sort of dirt or rust-like material that got in here. But yeah, this was just kind of a very small chunk that was found. Oh, that looks more like sandstone, though. This one's an odd one, but yeah, it has brassy flecks in it like pyrite. Of course, the sun is behind a huge cloud right now, so yeah, that's really all I got to say about this one. All right, next up is an interesting one to me. This is the only one I have found that looks like this. It is definitely, I probably should never say definitely with my understanding, but this seems like an igneous rock to me. You know, lava cooled fairly quickly on the surface. That's why the grain size is, you know, small. Doesn't seem to be porphyritic. It's a light, in person, it's light gray. And when I tried to identify the minerals in here, there's definitely calcium plagioclases, like in that have striations on their cleavage points. Also, what I think I found was quartz. You know, there's dark minerals in here. You know, either amphiboles, pyroxenes, your hornblends or augites possibly. And there were some brassy flecks in this as well. So I would have to. There was also some minerals in here that gave off almost labradorite colors, you know, internal schillers, I guess is what it can be called, schiller. You know, under high light, you can get a reflective colors back. Now, I'm going to call this a dacite. And why I'm going to call it a dacite is the color, what I suppose is the mineral composition, and possibly, if anyone can tell me, I don't know if this will show up great on here, but okay, that's actually not too bad. So I see ridges in this, which I would consider like flow banding, you know, lava on a surface, kind of like if you were to spill, I don't know, some sort of substance that would create kind of like layers depending on the geography on which it flowed over. So to me, that's also flow banding, which dacite, I believe, can do. So between those factors, that to me is what I assume, is what I'm going to assume for this particular rock. Not one that I think is supposed to be common around here, but because of the rocks of the, glacial age, the Pleistocene, Guess you never quite know what you're going to find here. So an interesting one, really cool to discover. This had a great smell to it, as I recall. Oddly enough, I smell all these. This one smelled like diatomaceous earth, which I'm a big fan of that smell. I think you can see some shine off of plagioclase crystals in there. Up close, they have striations. All right, the last one for this go is, I think, just a quartz arenite sandstone. Yeah, pretty dense. Up close, the grains look like tapioca balls, which is always neat. Looks like I could break this off up here, and there it goes. That's nicely, freshly broken. Let's see how close we can get with this. I use a loop that's got 30 to 60 magnification. I'd like to get one. I used to have one that had 90. It's a rectangular loop that had 30, 60, 90, which I'd like to repurchase. Yeah, there's some staining. It's got small, fine-grained with some grain differences. Once again, these types of sandstones, these ones predominantly made up of these quartz grains, are supposedly some of the mature sandstones, because it takes quartz forever to break down compared to other minerals. So when you have a stone that's just quartz grains, it took a while to form. All right, well, that's it for this one. Hopefully everybody enjoyed. Like, subscribe, leave comments. Would like to turn this channel into something profitable in the future. I'm going to do videos of other things. Went to Florida recently, picked up a few shells and some odd stones from there that I've got to identify. But yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.